This week on the jungle. I'll zoom out a little bit. It's about 90-ish degrees today at the top. I think it's about 80 right now. I've got the microphone on the other side so we don't see the little red bobbly thing in the corner. Good updates and I don't know, some not so great updates. Of course, then I've got neighbors trying to run every power tool known to man while I'm filming, so we'll see what this sounds like. So the grape tomatoes hitting their stride, tastes good, doing everything that you would want it to do. Had to cut the pepper plants. The aphids just attacked them, and so I need to get these buckets cleaned out and get something else in here that will handle the heat. Supposed to be 90s for a couple of days here and then jump up to 100, 102 this weekend next week. So no relief from the heat, but it's better than 110 like this past week. Cherry tomatoes doing pretty well. Just waiting for them to start turning color. Oh, there's some hanging out right down in there. You can barely see them. The peppers, I wish I would have thought about doing the cages like this before. The plants would have been a lot happier and would not have gotten tortured like I did trying to squeeze them in here. So this one's perked up quite a bit. I think less stress from leaning over and whatnot. The orange lunchbox starting to change color. A couple of red lunchbox doing their thing down there. To me they don't look like lunchbox peppers, but you know, 'tis what it is. The whole gaggle of cherry tomatoes starting to do their change. The peppers and other plants I've been seeding to put in these two slots here. Hopefully you can still hear me with the power tools and the mic and everything going on. The plants are too small to stick in a greenhouse, I'm afraid. The cool thing with the heat is the bigger tomatoes are starting to change. And it's kind of a daily hunt to make sure that let's see if I can make it autofocus. Although it looks, no, come on, do its thing. No, don't like it. Let's focus on the leaf. Although it looks pretty red back there, I'm guessing not so red. Let me zoom out one more here. So here's the problem. This is the bad part. The good part is that the plants have been doing well. There's lots of tomatoes on every plant. The tomatoes are getting big. And here's a good example. This one's almost ready to pick. And small softball size. Problem is that the tomatoes are so heavy that, see if I can get a good look, it's bowing all of the PVC. Now I had a little bow before from, this is what, third year, but here's the problem as I come out here. Generally the top of this, so the doorway as I stand, I can clear the doorway. And I'm 6'3", 6'4". As I get inside, this is getting pulled down more and more and more. I get to about here, which is 3.5 feet from the doorway. My head's actually touching. So the weight of this is pulling everything down so much that I can't walk in here anymore. So it's good and bad. So I I think even once these tomatoes start to ripen and start to pick them, it's not going to relieve much pressure on the greenhouse until they're done. So, hopefully, ideally next year, I won't be living at this house and I'll have my own piece of property. I'd like to either get a plexiglass greenhouse, say that 10 times fast, or build a hoop house like this and use steel conduit instead of PVC. It's done well for its time, but whatever it is, even if I stay here next year, there needs to be some changes. If I'm stuck using PVC based on what material prices are, I would add a couple more ribs, because right now I believe they're 3 feet apart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, because this is 16 feet, so approximately 3 feet apart. I would probably move it down to 2 feet, so add, like 3, 4 more ribs, and try to get a little structure. The purlins, ideally, this should be a couple feet wider than the purlins. Could go more that way, and I could get a little more height, so the plants could grow taller and I wouldn't have this problem. So we'll see. Other than that, that's the good and the bad. We'll have tomatoes in a couple days. I'm keeping my eye on a couple of these. I have some smaller ones. They're about this big. Oh, you saw them in the video if you looked at last week's video or Sunday's video on the harvest. There's some couple medium tomatoes. Haven't dug into that yet. Sitting inside getting ready probably tomorrow. Other than that, that's really it. There's not a ton of bugs except for the aphids. I guess you can say that's literally a ton of bugs, but I need to spray this tomato plant. There's a few aphids hanging out in here, and I clipped most of them. So the peppers in the back, not so much. I think they're getting more heat, so there are some aphids, but not too bad. Sealing everything up with the expanding spray foam has helped. I do not see the crickets this year. I had one, and haven't seen any more crickets. There are some ants, but that's normal. I mean, I can't fight the ants. That's just what it is. I didn't spray for them, but that's just a normal thing. So yeah, all in all, pretty good. This bay leaf, the bigger one, is still doing fine. Here, let me make it focus. There you go. Looks healthy. There was one leaf that kind of got crispied up, and then it's been cooler, and I've been trying to lightly water it. The other one that was in here, I think is dead, but I put it back in here. The other ones, well, that one's actually dead. You can see that one's turning brown black instead of green, so that one, here, let's just take it out. So 1 out of 4, that's not a great percentage, but I would probably order from this person who sent them again. Obviously it's not their issue. Bay leaves are hard to propagate, but they were inexpensive. Like I said, they were $12, and they're a couple hours away, and it arrived in a couple of days. So maybe once the temperature goes down a little bit, because I started them in the house anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But other than that, more and more tomatoes changing color, so that is the good news. So until next time.